Masquera say Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zim Confessions and Deep Secret. Kana kariki kutanga kuyapa nino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchungwa garoka subscribe, but don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Zimbabwe takuigirai nyaburitswa na advocate Tendai Mbofana, a political commentator mabuda achiradza kushamisika ne nyaya yakabuditswa ne one of mazano PF officials achitaura iye achiti President Mnangagwa was elected to be the SADC Chairperson. Zvakataurwa izvi during a rally yakaitwa zano PF. Hapo pane video rakasafisa online pachiudzwa citizens kuti kuti President Mnangagwa vakaelectwa nana South Africa nana Botswana kuti vaite the SADC chair, yet this is a post inorotetwa inoratedwa nemaSADC heads, and this time yango 10 ya President Emerson Mnangagwa kuti vaonekwa vachiassume this role. So vatendai Mbofana vakabuda vachaura ivo vachiti, to say I was shocked would be an understatement. I was dumbfounded. In fact, I was filled with indescribable revulsion. I came across a video of an address by an unnamed ruling ZANU-PF official to a group of rural villagers. In his speech, he glorified President Emerson Mnangagwa as a hero for being elected the chairman of the SADC, Southern African Development Community. He portrayed this as some form of electoral victory over other regional leaders. As a matter of fact, in his unrestrained excitement, he went to great lengths trying to convince these poor villagers that from the 17th of August 2024, when Zimbabwe assumes SADC chairmanship, Mnangagwa would have some authority and power over other regional leaders. In other words, the ZANU-PF official wanted everyone listening to believe that Mnangagwa would be in the mode of a president of all Southern African presidents. I was floored. Tragically, such brazen deception and blatant lies are by far not an isolated incident. One just needs to turn onto the state-controlled broadcaster ZBC to see the depths of which those in power in Zimbabwe are prepared to sink. There are now endless jingles praising Mnangagwa for assuming the SADC chairmanship. As with the repulsive lies spewed by the ZANU-PF officials, the jingles by various local musicians are clearly designed to create a false impression and understanding of the SADC chairmanship. The lies are quite frankly shameless and disgusting and a huge embarrassment for Zimbabwe. Let me set the record straight, hopefully once and for all. For starters, Mnangagwa was never elected as the chairman of the SADC. Zimbabwe as a country and member state of the SADC was the one elected as chairman. The chairman of the SADC is elected by the organization's member states during the annual SADC summit. Here is how the process typically works. The position of the SADC chairs rotates annually among the member states. This means that each member state has the opportunity to chair the organization over time. In other words, chairmanship is not bestowed as recognition for phenomenal leadership. It is rotated amongst all member states. Even had Satan himself been the president of Zimbabwe, he or the country would have still assumed the chair when its turn arrived. The election takes place during the annual SADC summit, where the head of states and government of the member countries meet to discuss the regional issues. The election is usually based on consensus among the member states rather than competitive vote. In other words, the election is more of a selection, as there is no voting between competing countries such that there is a winner or loser. This election process is not in the same format as the one where, for instance, Mnangagwa competes against Nelson Chamisa. The member state elected to the chairmanship is generally the country next in line based on the rotational schedule. As such, the country that becomes the SADC chair is never chosen on merit or any criteria, but purely on rotational basis. This rotational system ensures that all member states have an equal opportunity to influence the direction and focus of the organization over time. Last year, when Zimbabwe became the vice chairman of SADC, it automatically meant that this year the country would take over the chairmanship. Let us look at the second lie, that Mnangagwa now has some authority over the whole Southern African region, is some sort of president of presidents. By assuming the SADC chairmanship, Mnangagwa, or more accurately Zimbabwe, does not hold any authority or power over the regional countries. The chair serves a one-year term from one SADC summit to the next. During their tenure, the chairman is merely responsible for hosting the summit and other key meetings and for guiding the agenda and priorities of SADC. That's it. As can be clearly seen, the chairman's primary function is exactly as title denotes, to simply chair meetings and guide agenda, which is generally a collective process. This is exactly what Mnangagwa will be doing on the 17th August. This position does not come with any other significant authority. It is not as if Mnangagwa, as the SADC chairman, will now be giving orders to South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa or Zambia's Hakainde Hichilema, for instance. In fact, this lacks the real authority on the part of the SADC chairman. Speaks to the broader lack of authority of the entire SADC as an institution. That is why even after the damning report by SEMO, SADC Election Observer Mission on Zimbabwe 2023 shambolic elections, the body did absolutely nothing. This is because the organization is merely a talk shop with no real authority or power over any member state. Even when flagged by some regional bodies' own organs as the SEMO for conducting elections that fall short of the regional principles and guidelines governing democratic elections. No wonder why the report on Zimbabwe is now gathering dust at the SADC Secretariat in Gaborone, Botswana. In simpler terms, SADC is a toothless bulldog. Zimbabwe's chairmanship will just be ceremonial. This is because SADC heads of state do not want or are rather afraid of powerful SADC. Most of the regional leaders are fully aware that they are far from being democratic. As such, they will never want any supra-state entity that will hold them account for any misgovernance and violation of human rights or democratic tenets. When the regional body experimented with an organ that had drill teeth, the SADC Tribunal, this did not end well. The SADC Tribunal was eventually disbanded in 2011 after the regional court held that the Zimbabwean government had learned seizures in early 2000s violated the rule of law. As such, SADC head of states are more than comfortable with useless organization. How can the chairman of a toothless organization then have teeth? Mnangagwa's role for the next 1 year will be to merely call for and chair meetings, just as the chair of your local neighborhood watch committee. In conclusion, I urge ZANU-PF and the Mnangagwa government to stop lying to people of Zimbabwe over this SADC issue. They are not only embarrassing themselves, but also their own leader Mnangagwa and the country as a whole. We all know that Mnangagwa has failed to achieve anything of substance during his tenure as the president of Zimbabwe. However, that should not be a reason for lying over his assumption of the SADC chair by Zimbabwe. It is clear that they want to finally give Mnangagwa the accomplishment that has eluded him all this time. Toza Buddha Staurwa Vatenda Imbofana, a social justice advocate and a writer. Staurwa Iwo, but the president Mnangagwa was never elected as the SADC chair. Ingori a role, rotate one of SADC leaders. Singa zodi mwana si nyai tu zioza mutfunga. Pamsoro penya hii mu comment section.
Na kutara politics. President wetu wari kugadzwa kuva SADC chair. SADC yose yakaungana ikatoisa alilita. SADC ikatoisa sabu SADC. Baba SADC wana Ramaphosa vakadai, vanani vakadai. Tutagani nayo wedu. Botswana yatangwa. Kai mwakati uroko. Modern iti. Umwe iti. Iti. Varikugadzwa kuva SADC chair muna August. Saka president wedu vanenge va president weZimbabwe. Vakuita mukuru weSADC. saka ndida MC wa president ne MC wa Satan. Chokupedzisira uyaiti gakuchire zvi pane mari yakaitwa na president.